morning there. You're watching QTV This Morning, and I'm Jenna Vasonko here with my amazing co-host, Ibrahim Abalde. Shirt looks good, haircut perfect, everything check.
Yes, everything is good to go.
Yep.
Someone sent me a message this morning telling me I was watching the repeat. I mean, your cut looks very nice, you know, and
male or female.
I appreciate that. Well, I won't. I will reserve my comment.
It doesn't matter. I mean, sometimes even a male can appreciate another man's good haircut because he might even say to him, "Tell me the name of your barber."
Absolutely.
You know,
So
yeah. So, Mr. Ade, actually, you're having gray hair now.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about it, the fact that your hair is turning gray? Because, you know, some men actually have complex, like when their hair is turning gray, they like rush to, you know, kind of dye it. So how do you feel about
14% of gray hair?
Yeah, but how do you feel?
I will never do it. And one of the reasons I never do it is because, and people always tell me I don't look my age.
Yes.
And so I think when I start pointing to the gray hairs, and they'll say, ah, yes, he is your age. For example, yesterday, one of our colleagues, somebody we've been dealing with quite a lot over the last 2-3 years, he thought I was in my 40s.
Ooh.
And so, because I was saying to him, you know, people of my age, we have to be very careful around COVID. Because we keep getting the news that COVID's not quite disappeared.
Yeah.
So he said, what do you mean your age? I said, well, I'm 67. And he went, you're what? I said,
you don't
yes.
look it.
And so, you know, he said, so I said to him, I said, this is why, you know, I'm quite proud that I have gray hairs because, you know, it's Having said that, I have a sister who was born with a patch of gray hair. Yeah. And she still has it.
I think that's cute.
Yeah, I mean, and it looks great on her.
Yeah, I think that's cute.
Gray hair doesn't justify whether, I mean, you have...
Not for everyone.
Well, not for everyone. I mean, I've seen boys who are in their 25, they have gray hair all over, you know. So I don't think it has to do with the age sometimes.
But generally, it does.
That generally has something to do.
Most people who have gray hairs are over, so you have the odd one or two, and that's why you remember the one or two who don't, who aren't aged but have it. You will remember them because it's unusual.
But some men have, you know, complexes because when the gray hair starts coming, they have to rush to the barber. I don't know what that is about.
I have a friend who is I was going to say where he's a lecturer in America. I'll leave it like that. Yeah. And he has been dyeing his hair for the last 30 years because he went gray. He went gray quite. But he said,
at some point, yes.
He said people, you know, he said in America they're quite vain. and so if you have gray hairs, they think you're really, really old. Yeah. And so from the age of about 30-something, he started completely dyeing his hair black. You'd never guess there was any gray. Even now, he's still dyeing his hair.
I don't know. That's tiring.
I hope he's watching.
Yeah, that's quite tiring. Ibrahim,
he should stop.
Keep it real, okay? When you start having gray hair, don't be rushing.
Well, in fact, at some point, I mean, like when my hair grows, I mean, my beard, I mean, you can see some
flecks,
you know, at least some of them, and I love it. When I go to the barber, sometimes he takes everything off, but I love it anyway. Yeah. I love gray hair.
Something to be proud of.
Yeah.
The gray hair, like, I mean, it is said, there is one proverb that says, the gray hair on an elder's head, something. I don't know. I don't know.
Yes.
You know.
Okay, we'll try and find
Why am I always bringing up stuff? So today my mind took me to gray hair.
You're telling us, I mean, indirectly, Ade is old.
No, but he's okay.
Look at
him. His skin, you know.
I'm cool with it.
67.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Like 67 looking like this? Excuse me, please. It's not usual.
I'm younger and fresher.
I have a brother who is 12 years younger than me, and he is almost completely grey.
Look at that.
And he went grey 15 years ago. And he's my younger brother, but he's almost completely grey, which is quite remarkable something. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, Mr. Ade, I think it's good. At the same time, I think it's some of the habits that people need to change. I mean, to maintain such a body, and you know,
eat well.
Yeah.
Eat sensibly. Yeah. Don't eat too much. Yeah. Don't drink alcohol. Don't smoke.
Don't smoke. You know, and you never did any of those.
Never.
Yeah. So
never even tempted. Even though all around me, my classmates, my brothers and sisters, they either drank or they smoke or they did both. My brother smokes. He drinks. my older brother, and the younger one. But
I drink
I've
too.
never.
You drink
Yeah.
water.
I drink
Water.
attire.
Attire.
Yes.
And
Thank
water.
you.
Stick to attire.
So, good morning once again. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. So today the program is just going to be for an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we have the African Proverb, the newspaper review, as well as Community Watch. So on Community Watch today, we'll be taking a look at ongoing OIC projects. We saw President Adama Barrow went round to actually take a look at the ongoing projects. You know, he applauded part of it, but he was a bit disappointed with part of it, to an extent of calling an emergency meeting for some of the contractors to actually talk about the way forward.
Indeed.
And also we are aware that Radisson Blu Banjul will also be inaugurated on the 23rd. So
The new 5-star hotel.
yeah, the new 5-star hotel. Must be expensive. I mean, like
$100 million.
yeah,
is going to cost
400 rooms.
That's right.
Yeah.
Will sort of cater for all the heads of state
Yeah.
and their entourages. Yes.
Yeah, Radisson Blu in Dakar is okay. It's
The
so
one in
beautiful.
Sierra Leone is off the hook.
It's off the hook, right?
Yeah, wicked. It's the best hotel in Sierra Leone.
Okay,
Yeah.
and in Dakar it's amazing as well. Yeah, but okay. Let's see how Gambia, Radisson Blu Gambia will look.
Yeah.
At least it should be more modern, considering the times now changes, you know, in things.
Well, if you look at the computerized
Yeah, looks good.
plan, looks fantastic
Yeah,
if they
look-
build it to that. And if you look at what Radisson Blu have done in other countries,
Yeah.
they built a very high standard.
Yeah,
so I
very
think we
high.
should be very excited about this.
Yeah, looking forward,
Yeah.
looking forward. Yeah, so I think that is all we have. And then from there, we will get to connect with Ansumana Isonyasi. Yesterday, we saw how both the GTSC and the Q group intensified preparation ahead of today's official launch, handing over of buses, you know, 33 buses for that matter, to the GTSC as some form of easing transportation. So we'll connect to Ansumana Isonyasi, and President Adama Barrow will be presiding over the official handing over. So yeah, that which starts at 11. So this morning will officially end at 11, and then we'll get to connect to Ansumana Isonyasi to tell us all about it. So Ibrahim, what is our African proverb?
Oh yeah, it reads, the load is lighter when two people carry it. The load is lighter when two people carry it. Well, I think this is a direct, I mean,
it's direct and indirect. I mean, physically, if I was carrying this table, I might struggle with it, but if you help me. But also, I think they can mean a load psychologically. You know, if you have a burden, you know, they say a burden shared is a burden halved. So if I have a problem that's kind of bothering me, and I say to Balde, you know, this is really bothering me, and there's a way you can help, that lightens my load as well. So it's both physical and
two heads are better than one.
And that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
metaphorically
absolutely.
as well as, you know, literally.
Yeah,
It can
We are
be.
told Eso
Yeah,
is on the line.
it's on the line, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, so we will get back to this quite shortly. So Ansumana Isonyasi, thank you so much, and I hope you had a good rest from yesterday's marathon, and ate well today, because yesterday you're a Jola man, so he's been complaining so much about being hungry. So I just hope you're well fed, you're okay, and you're good to go. Good morning.
He's still
Good
having
morning,
his
Jennifer.
breakfast.
I mean, I guess even you were complaining of being hungry yesterday afternoon. But I mean, all good. I mean, of course, from here I came back to the office and had to work on my report for the night. But I mean, I am all fired up again. I mean, very much ready to be with our viewers at least for the next 2 or even 3 hours possibly, depending on how long this program would run. However, I mean, we're back here at Makati Square in Banjul, where you know, dignitaries, guests, and even you know, Banjulians and people from across the country are coming in their numbers to come and grace this very important occasion, the commissioning of this fleet of state-of-the-art buses acquired by the Q Group, you know, to help government, especially the transportation arm of government, the GTSC, in ensuring that, I mean, whatever challenges that people are facing within the transport sector, you know, are addressed, you know, and in a way that all of us really would love. I'm sure as the program progresses, you know, they would get to get more details as to, I mean, this project, everything else surrounding the project, you know, how and why it was conceived in the first place, and the contributions of the Q Group, you know, towards ensuring that, I mean, this, important project is realized.
So yes, we are actually looking behind you, and we see that already some guests are seated, which means the program will start on time.
Steady on.
Already, I mean, I could from right behind me. I can tell you that dignitaries, I mean, important high-profile government dignitaries have already started coming in. I saw the Minister of Finance, I saw the Minister of Transportation, the Minister of Information. I've seen National Assembly members here as well. So yes, we expect that maybe within the next 30 minutes, even the President himself would be around. But already people are coming in, and as well as GTSC staff.
All right, so we'll just allow you to settle down, and then we'll continue the program on here. And when it's just 11, we'll make sure to connect directly to you and get all the updates in relation to this very important matter. Thank you so much, Ansumana. So you can rest now. I'm allowing you to rest. Take a seat.
Thank you.
Relax. Have a sandwich. Have a cup of coffee. Yeah, thank you. Yes, so we were talking about the load is lighter when two people carry it.
Yeah. And we were saying, or I was saying that it can be both the kind of in the physical sense and also metaphorically. So yeah.
Two heads are better than one.
Which
two
is
heads are better than one.
Similar. So what's your opinion of it?
Is it? But it's not in only it's not in every circumstance that
of course.
When two people carry it, then it
lightens.
It's lighter, or it's easier to achieve. Because I don't know if what I'm about to say, it's going to really connect to this. But sometimes we have development problems that happen, or societal problems, and then we see how much we have different sets of organizations trying to handle it at the same time, trying to approach it. And when that happens, it doesn't work because there's a lot of duplication of effort.
Well, there's a proverb for that as well, which is, too many, hands, and
just
they spoil the broth.
Yes.
Because what you get, you're right, that is duplication of effort is not the same as halving the load.
Yeah.
Because what you tend, and I always, when young people come to me and say, I'm about to form an NGO, and I always say, to do what?
What?
And they tell me, and I'm like, there are 10 NGOs already doing this. Why don't you work with them? But everybody wants to be chairman or chairwoman or president of their own organization. So that and so it doesn't work. You're right. I mean, there are instances where duplication of effort ends up spoiling.
Exactly.
Spoiling the whole thing.
The load is lighter when two people carry it. But I mean, if two people are carrying a particular load, let's take it this way. I mean, you should have the same intention to make it lighter. At some point, if at all you are going west and he is going east, I mean, even if you carry it, you won't at least get something out of it. So
and that's a very good explanation of it.
Obviously. So, I think.
All right, so we'll go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, the discussion continues. So we'll be right back.
Check out the all-new Tigo 8 at S-Pass Motors. Call 3522-222 or 353-2222 for more information. Cherry.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. So, Mr. Ade, yesterday was Nelson Mandela Day.
Yeah.
One
of my heroes.
Yes, my hero too. I don't know for you, Ibrahima.
Yes, I mean, Nelson Mandela is a statesman. I mean, he is a great motivation to people. So, I mean, I like him.
Yeah, and you can see that most of the, quotations, he's just some person lifting people's souls, you know, with
lifting.
what he does, with his story and everything.
Sure.
So yesterday was like a day for people just to sit, you know, and reflect on some of the things that he's gone through and some of the changes that he's made when it comes to South Africa, you know, looking at their transitional justice process, which came and later became the best known transitional justice.
Indeed.
Although, you know, there were some loopholes, but that was the first time for Africa to kind of have like a transitional justice.
And the Truth and Reconciliation was the first in Africa.
Exactly.
Which was quite remarkable.
Yeah.
I had my own Nelson Mandela stories.
Yeah.
When they did a concert before he was released in London at Wembley, and at the after party, in those days I used to DJ. And so I got to DJ.
Oh, you DJed before?
Yeah, for many years.
Okay.
20 odd years. And so for the after party for the artists, I was one of the DJs contracted. So as a thank you,
No way!
I
We
swear.
started you DJ.
big time.
Okay.
Big time.
DJ Ade.
DJ, and
DJ,
I used to get on the mic as well.
DJ.
No way!
DJ.
We used to do that.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
It means
You're talking to my editor.
Mr. Ade, please give us a freestyle.
Hey, no. I know.
Well, this is your guy, DJ Ade, on the mix. Chuku, 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 chuku.
Absolutely. But no, I really did. And so as a thank you for doing that job, I was then given a ticket when Nelson Mandela was coming to Brixton. And I lived in Brixton at the time. And of course, in London, Brixton is like the kind of center of the black community, or so, you know, people perceive.
Yeah.
And I lived about 5 minutes from the venue. So I was quite casual. I thought, oh, you know, I have my ticket. Boy, have my ticket? By the time I got there,
It was packed.
the police were like, sorry, nobody else can get in.
Oh
I said, what? I said, I have a ticket. I'm like, no, nobody else can get in. I couldn't get, I had to watch the guy from 100 meters away. I'm not kidding.
Oh, wow.
I could, there must have been 40 or 50,000 people in Brixton that day.
Okay.
I mean, it's like all of London wanted to see the man, touch him and so on. So I just had to kind of be there, and he waved to us and I waved back, but I didn't get to shake his hand and at all. I was really, and as I said, I had to take it. And in a way I didn't mind, because just to be there, the vibe
Feel the
was fantastic.
Yeah.
So as I said, one of my heroes, and as you rightly say, people can go back to his speeches, his sayings and all the things, and how he lived his life. You know, and okay, I know by the time he became president, he was elderly, but you know, he served his one term and he stood down.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean,
Even though people wanted him to stand again.
That's one thing that impressed me about him. I mean, realizing that, I mean, his health cannot do it anymore. I mean, his age and the health is deteriorating. I mean, he'll have to step down.
That's
I
right.
mean, I think most people should copy from that.
I mean, by the end of this year or next year, we will have about 4 African presidents who would have served 40 years in the job. 40, not 14, 40.
Yeah.
You know, and that's remarkable.
Yeah.
You know,
Ade.
in Cameroon, in Uganda, Equatorial Guinea, and a couple of others.
Yes, I mean, sometimes
Congo, Republic of Congo.
don't you think the reason why African leaders cling into power, they are scared after being ushered out of the State House or the President's house, the Truth Commission? People will be following you. A whole lot of stuff.
It's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
It's also one of the reasons why you have presidents who try and get their sons to succeed them. So, for example, in Uganda now, the talk is all that Museveni is getting his son to succeed him. Now, when you remember that his son is 48, which means he was 8 years old when his father came to power.
Yeah.
And yet his father is grooming him to take over from him.
That's sick.
No, they treat the presidency like a monarchy.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so part of it is that. Some of it is that if you look at them, they got no other skills. So when they leave the presidency, what are they going to do? They don't want to become an ordinary citizen, and they can't. And you and I know that if you have become president, you drive through the streets, people have to park, and you drive through all that enjoyment, that power you have, it's all gone.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's stopping in the streets for you anymore and stopping traffic for you.
Mr. Ade, in a normal circumstance, if you did the right things while you were in power, even if you're out, people will still stop for you.
Listen,
because of the
let me tell you this. Let me tell you this.
Yes.
I lived in London.
Yeah.
I worked in Westminster.
Yeah.
5 minutes from Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
The Queen would pass. They wouldn't stop traffic for her other than to when she was going by.
Yeah.
Then they would stop that bit of traffic so she got by. And then the traffic continued.
Yeah.
On this nonsense about stopping traffic for Napa.
It's, you know, but also
didn't do it for her, didn't do it for the Prime Minister.
That is true. But the thing is, there are roads over there, and what we have here is different.
But it's not
we
the
just
same
have
in
one lane.
It's not the same in every African country.
That is
and yet
true.
that abuse by African presidents goes on in every single African country.
That
They
is
stop
true.
traffic for half
That
an
is
hour
true.
just so you can pass.
Yeah.
Never happened
Half an
for
hour
the Prime
is too
Minister,
much.
never happened for the Queen.
Yeah.
Well, I
Half an
think
hour is too much.
that's a bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is.
it's a bad one there.
Yeah.
I mean, well, this is what we know.
And
in
that's what they
Africa.
miss.
Yeah.
When the leader comes, I mean, you need to leave the way. I mean, if a leader cannot leave the road for an ambulance, I mean, I don't think an ordinary person should stay in the road.
Yeah.
Yes. The issue of Kenya, I watched Kenya over the BBC.
With
I
their
think
elections?
With their elections.
It's getting hot.
I'm surprised that the president is supporting the opposition.
Yes.
The opposition candidate.
Because he and his own party
Vice
guy,
president.
they fell out.
Yeah.
And, you know, he doesn't want him to succeed him. Now, Uhuru Kenyatta is another one of those. His father, Jomo Kenyatta, was the first Prime Minister President of Kenya after independence. And what's interesting is that the rival to his father was Oginga Odinga. Now, Oginga's son is now a rival, or was a rival, to Uhuru Kenyatta. So the two fathers and their two sons were rivals all those years ago, 40, 50 years ago. And then you have their two sons being rivals again. So you're right. I mean, it's caused a lot of controversy because obviously, naturally, you would normally support the person of your own party. But the guy has said categorically that he will investigate him if and when he wins the presidency. So the thing you're saying about why presidents worry about this, that's one of the things. But Uhuru Kenyatta got into power and became president. He was already, the Kenyatta family are one of the richest families in Kenya. Father left a lot of land, a lot of property, and the son inherited that.
Yes, from what I sense, I mean, it's like Uhuru Kenyatta doesn't have the power to dismiss his vice president. In Kenya, is that the kind of a rule that they have there? You cannot sack the vice president.
That is correct, because unlike other countries, you run on a ticket where they vote for both of you.
Yeah, like a running mate.
So the person was voted in.
Yeah.
You didn't choose them. You know, they were voted in with you on the same ticket. So unless the voters reject them, then the Constitution says. Having said that, we have exactly the same situation in Sierra Leone, and yet Anes Koroma sacked his vice president, who then took him to the ECOWAS court, won his case, but Anes Koroma refused to reinstate him because, as the court rightly said, you did not choose him. Like here in the Gambia, the president chooses a vice president. When he's running for president, he runs alone. He doesn't run on a ticket with vote for me and person X. In Kenya, you have to have two people on the ticket, president and vice president. In Sierra Leone, you have two people on the ticket, president and vice president. And so the Constitution does not allow you to say, but it just shows you how irrelevant the ECOWAS court is. They passed the resolution,
and it's not
they passed the judgment, never been implemented. They even fined, I think, 1 million they found against, never been paid. 8 years later, and 9 years later, and nothing's happened. So you're right, the Constitution does not allow the person to sack their VP. Because, like I said, you know, they didn't choose them; they were voted in. So unless that person,
well, that's kind of a system. Do you think it favors a country? Yes. How good is that system, Mr. Ade?
It works in some countries because, you know, most people who are vice president, they have ambitions of one day becoming president themselves, and so you have it with Biden now in America. And so sometimes the person who is president is worried that this person is after my job. And then, you know, we were friends when we were campaigning, but now, you know, they're embarrassing me in public. They're pointing out all the things that they could do better if they become president. And so, obviously, you know, ambitious people can fall out with each other. Take, for example, what's happening not with presidency, but in England, with the since Boris Johnson has had to resign as prime minister. All the people who are campaigning to be leader of the Conservative Party, and then they're all now blasting him when they were all his friends just 2 weeks ago. You know, they're all saying all the bad things he did and how they would do things better, and they're blasting each other. They're all scratching each other's eyes out, trying to become prime minister.
I think another thing that deserves to be discussed, and I think, you know, specialists are in the country who actually specialize in educating the public when it comes to this, is the issue of rape. So we're not pointing at any case right now. We're just talking in general terms. I think there needs to be, when we talk about the civic education, you know, individuals understanding constitutions, understanding, you know, AU instruments, UN instruments, it's important. That is why we always call on the body, the council responsible for educating the people. Because it's quite funny when you hear conversations in the country currently when people say rape does not occur in certain situations. So they cannot still accept that when an individual who's not 18 years has some form of intimacy with an older individual, it's rape. For some reason, Gambians lack the understanding to an extent. They cannot accept it. What they tell you is, whatever the case is, it's not rape. Rape did not occur. It's an 18-year-old cannot give consent to anything that requires intimacy. And I don't know why it's not sinking into people's heads. I don't get it.
I think you've said it rightly there, that it's not taught enough in the schools that this is the law. And if people grew up knowing that this is the law, then there would not be a debate about it.
There's none.
The reason there's a debate, and I know, you know, it's been all over social media, we won't go into any particular case, but just in a general term, you've heard what people are saying, then you realize how uninformed people are about the law. As you rightly said, somebody who is a minor cannot consent to sexual intercourse. Let's be blunt about it. It's a no-no. So, but you know, you see the discussions and you think this really does need to be taught at the level where, you know, people got to understand, but it's not taught.
Yes, the reality is, as much as sometimes I disagree with Janaba, but honestly, that's the truth. You understand? I mean, if you are less than 18, I mean, you cannot consent to certain things. That is true, you know. But sometimes the manner and the way it is done, and the education aspect is also very important. Very important. You know, people should be educated certain things, you understand? And even the people, sometimes the victims that are involved, I think it's important for us to teach our young children. I mean, certain things, you have to be careful too.
That is true.
As far as people don't have to go there, you cannot consent to certain things. You have to be careful, you have to avoid certain things as well. You understand? With that, I think we should be fine.
Mr. Ade, it's already, young people are already told, young girls are already told that this is something that you need to abstain from. But whatever the case, these are kids less than 18 years old. You talk to them, it's gonna...
you know, it's, you know, because if you start saying that they can do these things, you might as well allow them to vote.
Exactly.
At 13 or 14 as well.
Yeah.
Because the law says they are not adults yet. They cannot make these decisions.
Straight.
And so, you know.
Yeah, so if people feel like an 18-year-old, a less than 18-year-old can consent, let them give them the chance to vote, like you mentioned. Right. They will vote based on very baseless arguments because they do not understand situations, consequences surrounding some of these decisions that they make. And you know, it's said, oh, don't touch this, but this is some form of education. We need to continue to educate people.
Since I've come to the Gambia, I've been very critical of civic education. I know there's an organization that's meant to, and I've said this, and I hope they're watching, I've actually said, what is their job?
People who don't update their website. People who, if you go to their website, last seen is 2018.
Yeah. If you're lucky, I mean, 2018.
How can,
this is it. So how serious are they about it? And is it that they don't have the funding? And is it that they think that these things are not important? These things are important as much as, you know, sex education, cleaning our environment and so on. And I was discussing this yesterday with Mr. Mboj on Drive Time, and I said, when we talk about things like cleaning the environment, you know, you drive along. I'm going to do a program about it. We're going to drive along and we're going to show all the rubbish that is on the streets in some of the markets overnight after people have left. And then you go in the morning and you see those markets have not been swept, okay? And that just gathers and gathers and gathers over the weeks, over the months, over the years. It affects our health. It's not just about making it look pretty. And then I will show you the statistics for some of the countries close to us where people will expect to live 10 years longer because those countries are clean. That's about civic education as well. You know, keep your environment clean and you will be healthier. It's not about medicines or anything like that. Sometimes it's not even about eating healthy. It's just about keeping your environment clean. You know, if countries close to us can eradicate malaria just by being clean, not with drugs or a vaccine, why can't we do it? Because you go out there and the place is filthy.
Well, I mean,
and we all have
like you
mentioned,
civic education,
I
mean,
it's
they should step up on their game and at least handle their things. I mean,
but also,
yes,
citizens have to take it upon themselves
This is it.
to understand their constitution,
People
to
don't-
understand what laws say, because you can't live in a country and not understand your laws.
Yeah, I mean, that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is about the responsibility of you as a civilian. If you are in a car and you're driving, as happens every morning when I'm driving to work, and you're throwing stuff out of your car, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Why are you doing it? That's not about the laws. That's about you as an individual saying, I can't be bothered to wait till I get to my destination and put this in a bin. I'll use the roadside as the dustbin. And look at the roadside, they look like dustbins because nobody sweeps them.
Absolutely.
I've never seen a civic cleaner employed by either the government or a council sweeping any of the roads. I've never seen it. I've been here
some of
3.5
them
years.
clean, but it's just around the KMC.
Yeah, just the visible.
If you go to
places.
if you leave KMC around Churchillstown to Latrikunda end, you will be disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, I was coming this morning and you know, a whole lot of sand packed just at the side of the road. I mean,
that
those
is
things
one of
should
the
be
most
clean.
They do all these
Depressing.
cleansing exercises. They pile the rubbish, and then later it takes days before the
it
truck
comes
comes,
and
to,
comes and pick
and
it
then
up.
it spreads again.
It's
The
coordination.
media comes. So, Mr. Ade, I think we should be strict about covering cleansing exercises.
The
The
from now on.
coordination is
anymore.
bad.
We have to be serious about
Yeah.
it. It's either we do not cover, or when we cover, we go back days later.
Of course, go back
to
a week
look
later
at
and
the
see.
place, because they pile the media comes, they do all these sorts of interviews, and then later it's even worse.
And to me, that's a kind of cosmetic exercise, because if you say that we're doing it every week, then that's different.
Yeah.
But you call us and then you do it 1 month and then a
Once
month
in a blue
later, once in a blue moon. That's not cleaning. That's just
Publicity.
it's PR. You know.
Cleaning should be constant.
photo
I
op.
mean, you should
It's a
be
photo
cleaning
opportunity.
constantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should be cleaning all the time.
This is it.
But I think, Mr. Ade, certain things should be reviewed in this country, especially that civic education.
It's a big thing with me.
organization.
For me, it's a big thing.
You know, constitutions. I mean, when you talk about constitution in the country, not everybody who knows what the constitution says.
Yeah,
You know, the Gambian is so typical that at some point he doesn't even understand when it comes to how situations work in this country. This is the country where you will come as a political person, as a party leader. I mean, a person will be wearing maybe so and so T-shirt of a political party. You take off another. A political party will come and tell you, I mean, here is a shirt. You remove that one and wear this one.
Because
that happens. It happens in other
No,
countries.
so
yeah, but
when I saw
what does that tell? What does that
it's the
tell you?
mindset.
It is.
It's the way people think.
Yeah,
So
but-
when I saw that, I said, I'm done with Gambia.
Wow.
Listen, but you know what I like about that? It means that people can fool these politicians, because the politicians think that they're the ones always
that's
fooling
true.
the public.
That's true.
But if you come and give me a T-shirt and I dance and sing for you,
And you have only one vote.
and I only have one vote, and I vote for somebody else, you don't know. It's a secret ballot. You don't follow me into the ballot box. You know, just because I sing and dance behind your truck doesn't mean I'm going to vote
But
for
that's
you.
not nice as well. You know, people have to be strict on their agendas and understand what they want and what they're looking forward to.
But the reason I blame the politicians is that sometimes when they go out to people, they're very thin on what they campaign. You know, they promise all sorts of ridiculous generalities that they know they're never going to have to live up to. And of course, the public are not stupid.
And you know what I came to understand, Mr. Ade, and it's so funny. I'm aware that political parties during the elections had to even pay transportation for people to go and vote.
Yes.
For their groups.
Yeah.
Comme ñaka degu sa deka for you to get up. Use your vote to go and vote, but you're calling your party to tell them, oh, I don't have transport. I'm waiting for you people to send a vehicle for me to go and vote. And those people will be busy. They will obviously send you the vehicle, but because they know your vote counts. So I do not understand that. Like, where's the sense of patriotism that we are talking about?
But it's a mixture of things. In some countries, because you say patriotism, you know, it's why should I spend my money to go travel to go and if the polling station is far from me? In some countries, what they do to encourage citizens to vote is it's free to travel on that day, and so you can travel wherever you are. You know, and you can go to the ballot box and put in your
If that's the case, for me, I'm
vote.
thinking in any country, the government should have saddles or costers or anything for generally individuals to go out and vote to combat voter apathy, but not specific political parties
it's going to be complicated. I mean, if you want to introduce such a thing in a country, it's going to cost you. Obviously, if the government is to do that, I mean, it's coming from our coffers. But the government is even doing it for themselves, for their own political party. They are doing it for themselves.
Yeah, but each party
but if you were to implement that, like, it should happen.
But putting aside voter apathy, then it's a general concern. It's not a specific concern of one political party.
But you say voter apathy. The last election in the Gambia set record.
No, that didn't.
The presidential
I'm not pointing at this recent one, but I'm just talking generally, like to kind of encourage that, you know, general feeling of, you know, going to vote. That's what I'm talking about.
I think beyond providing free whatever is to make it mean something for people.
Exactly.
And make people feel that their vote is going to make a difference and make a change. Yeah. So yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But I just, before I go, just say to people, watch Q Sports, because we talk about the World Championships, we talk about the upcoming Commonwealth Games, and we talk about the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, which is ongoing, which will see South Africa take on the host Morocco on Saturday.
And I'm so happy about the fact that you're giving so much relevance, and it's relevant, but you're also for the, you know, giving so much relevance to the women's, you know, the World Cup, which really, most of the time when it involves women, it's always underreported. But I'm happy about the fact that you're taking the initiative.
And if anybody watched yesterday's game, Morocco against Nigeria, is the biggest crowd that has ever watched a women's football game in Africa.
Amazing.
Ever.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much. All right. So we'll go for a short break and we'll be right back to stay tuned.
Save up to 50% energy with the new side-by-side Samsung refrigerator. Samsung air conditioners come with HD filter and antibacterial for your protection. Save time, energy, and effort by using our washing machines, loaded with innovative features that offer superior cleaning technology. Step into the future of television with our slick and slim Samsung Smart TV designs. Sizes range from 32 to 85 inches. Smart LED, Crystal UHD Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dark LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV. Unparalleled vision, right from the comfort of your living room. Our products are backed with 1-year warranty. Visit us at Q South Building at Caraba Avenue or at Boosterview Turntable. Contact us on 333-3217 or email us at info@quantumnet.gm. Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the QCell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. And that's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunubus, we innovate, others follow. Your favorite QCell service has gotten bigger. eFunkanta. Now you can loan bigger credit amounts to make life easier for you. Loan $75 and $100 and pay later. Yes, you heard me right. Get credit loan from $10 to $100 using eFunkanta by dialing *393#. Anytime you run out of credit, whether you want to buy Q-Power, browse the internet, make urgent calls, or send SMS. eFunkanta is the service for you. Dial *393# and choose the loan amount of your choice with no hassle. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus, the pioneers of mobile loan service in the Gambia. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. I should say that on air. And I said that on air yesterday. Etienne was here, you know, so I was telling Etienne that he's doing a good job because we're always blasting communications officers. But, you know, Fali Fadera, Etienne, and another few individuals are definitely individuals that we journalists can count on to ask them questions instead of talking to the director, reliable, you know, because sometimes you talk to the communication officer, they'll be like, okay, let me ask my director, but they're taking the initiative to actually talk about things, and that is what communications officers are supposed to do.
Which for me, as somebody who used to be a communications officer, I find extremely frustrating.
Exactly.
When I go to a fellow communications officer here and he or she is telling me, oh, I need to, but no. There are certain instances where you brief your director, okay, but there are certain times when you should be the person who should come.
Well, I mean, I think if you know your area very well, you should not hesitate to answer to any call.
And if you don't,
that's
then what are you doing
why
in the
you
job?
are employed.
And the thing is, as a communications officer, you can rotate and go anywhere. So wherever you find yourself, you should be au fait with the issue there.
Sure.
I can't imagine being a communications officer in a department where my director is actually chairing or handling a press conference, which I see happening. I'm like, where's the communications officer? That's an insult.
Sometimes it depends, because if it's a press conference where there are certain things that need to be addressed. I mean, I've done stuff in England where the minister was the person handling the questions, and sometimes the ministers can be a nightmare.
Exactly.
Because you have some ministers who they just say stuff off the top of their head rather than what you brief them. And then you're having to tell the people, sorry, you can't use that because it's not true. It's really embarrassing. It can be really embarrassing.
But thank you so much, Fali, for joining us. It's always good to have you here.
Of course.
It's my pleasure. It's part of the job.
So we saw, before we go into the event on the 23rd, which is the launching of Radisson Blue Banjo, let's just talk about the President's tour, because the President, you know, toured different OIC projects. He was happy with part of it. You know, he applauded, you know, the job being done. But on the other hand, he was not happy. He expressed disappointment on certain areas and had to call an emergency meeting with the contractors to actually discuss with them. You know, so can you tell us the outcome of the meeting, or, you know, what's the way forward after the President really expressing some form of disappointment?
Okay. I can do that.
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Yes, so that's for you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you very much, Jay. Thank you very much to Mr. Balde and Ade for having me.
It's good to have you.
I'm glad to be here, and it's always a pleasure to be on this morning on QTV. As you rightly said, the President, I think about last week, visited some OIC projects. But specifically, he visited the airport VVIP lounge project. He visited the Batil Hardin Highway project, which is the expansion of the Batil Hardin Highway into a 6-lane highway. And then he also visited other road projects, part of the OIC still, and specifically the 50-kilometer urban road project. So as you said, he visited all these projects that he visited, and he was quite impressed, except a few ones, and which is the Lot 1 and Lot 2 of our 50-kilometer urban road project. And I just also quickly want to say, as a secretariat, you know, we align ourselves completely with the comments of the President. I think they were very frank and candid, and they echoed our concern all this while. In fact, I just want to say, before the President visited 2 weeks prior, our office, the Secretariat, called an emergency meeting because of similar concerns. We called all the stakeholders to come, and they turned out in good number. It was chaired by my boss and also chaired by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Works, and then the National Road Authority was there, and all the stakeholders. And we told them the same things, that we are really not... we were very concerned about the progress regarding the particular project that the President mentioned, and I'm glad that he took a decision immediately and called an emergency meeting where we went back to the drawing board as a family and had a very frank assessment of everything. And very concrete outcomes also came out of that meeting. And I'm sure all the stakeholders will take those outcomes quite seriously.
Yes. What are some of the things that the president is not happy with? I mean, it's good that you clarify everything. I mean, here. I mean, it's not all the project, but some of the projects. The way people are taking it, like the president
like
is not happy
projects.
with the OIC projects.
That was clear with our report.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was clear.
I mean, what are some of the things?
In fact, I just want to commend QTV. When I saw the reportage, I was like, this is a fantastic job.
Exactly.
It's quite representative of exactly what happened. So like I said, we have an array of projects. The Battle Hardin, the airport, the 50 kilometers, the hotel, etc., etc. So President visited only three out of the 5 strategic infrastructure projects. And out of the 3 that he visited, he was visibly impressed with all of them. The airport particularly, in fact, is ahead of schedule. The airport will be completed in November. And it's supposed to have been, the projected date was December. So the Battle Hardin airport, Battle Hardin project also, the contract is on track. I think the projected plan is about 25 to 30%, and we are still within that range. So meaning we are not behind time as far as Battle Hardin is concerned. The concern though is with the 50-kilometer urban road project, like I said, both Lot 2 and Lot 1. And we are significantly behind time, we have to say. I think that is what the president was disappointed about. Where we had expected to be, we are not there. And you know, the reasons for this are numerous. Some of them are external, meaning, you know, the contractors could not do much about. But others also, I think, if you know, they could have been more innovative about their project planning and things of that sort. But at the end of the day, like I said, we went to we had a stakeholders meeting, and everybody understands the urgency of the moment. That is what the president drove home, that there is no time, there is no room for complacency, and we must deliver in the interest of the Gambian
So Fali,
people.
we'll just engage you quickly about the event on the 23rd, because the president is most of the time never late, and if he gets to the event with GTSC, we will just get to cut this and connect to him straight. So on the 23rd, the OIC will actually be launching Radisson Blue Banjo, which will be presided over by President Adama Barrow. So this was a bidding, it was a bidding process, right? And then Radisson Blue won the bidding. Can you first of all talk about the bidding and then talk about the event itself on the 23rd?
Thank you very much, Jainaba. I think that's a very good question. Just like all other OIC projects, everything that we do is anchored on transparency, and it's in the public knowledge. So what happened is, when the OIC determined the need to have a befitting accommodation facility for guests of the summit, we sent an RFP. An RFP is a request for proposal, where we outline what we are looking for and ask companies to submit technical and financial proposals. So several companies participated, both in the Gambia and beyond, and Radisson Blue also participated and sent in their own proposal. So after we went through all the bids, Radisson Blue, not Radisson Blue, sorry, Imolan Sal. Imolan Sal, Imolan Sal was deemed to be the most responsive. So, and then we went into a concession agreement where the government is contributing, and our equity in the partnership is a land, 17 hectares, and the Imolan Sal is bringing in about $100 million to invest into the hotel. So it was a very transparent and innovative process. Unlike all other OIC projects, it is the only project that is financed in an innovative way, in a way that is different from the normal grants and loans that we receive from our donor countries and development financing partners. So this one in particular is a PPP, it's a public-private partnership between the government and a private investor. So that is why, after the concession agreement, there was a special purpose vehicle created, a new company called Imogam. So Imogam is the owner of the hotel, and Imogam is owned by the people of the Gambia through the government and Imolan South.
Okay,
So
I think that's a good thing because
Yes.
the OIC has been talking about the fact that when a project is given to an external individual, it will also be supported halfway by another Gambian, and this is with the government of the Gambia. So I think it's quite balanced.
local content,
Yeah.
local content
Local,
is,
yeah.
is emphasized. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So moving on, talk
Yeah.
to us about the event. and
Yes,
the
the event is the 23rd. That is Saturday coming. It will be presided over by the president himself. He accepted the honors of laying the foundation stone for it, and we are expecting guests from across all sectors of the country, from the diplomatic corps, the business community, the political class. We are inviting everybody because it's a Gambian affair, because we like to think that the OIC is here for everybody, regardless of you know, your political persuasion, your religious affiliation or whatsoever. You know, that is why it is a purely Gambian affair. We are inviting everybody to come, and we are also expecting some guests from outside the Gambia as well. I think from Senegal we are expecting some cabinet level representation, because Imolan is based in Senegal. I think they are also demonstrating support for Senegalese investors. And then the contractors and the engineering team, which comprise of Turkish and South African nationals, would also be present at the event. So it's going to be a grand event. We are also expecting a huge public presence. We are working with the governor's office and other relevant stakeholders to make sure that the public sees itself in it as much as possible.
Can I jump in here? Because one of the things that I've been sort of focused on is that I've said to people all along, and you've touched on it there, you said that once this is completed, it's for everybody.
Absolutely.
And so there's a great sense of expectation from the whole country. And, you know, myself and Mr. Mboj teases me now about using the phrase, it's a game changer. Do you get that sense within the Secretariat of the wealth of expectation there is from the public as to how much this will mean and the impact it will have on the country?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, in fact, that is what is keeping us on our toes all the time. We are really, really mindful of the huge expectation around all our projects, and that is why we are not resting on our laurels, whatever, because the mantra at the office is that all these projects coming in the name of the summit will be meaningless if we cannot link them to the welfare, the well-being, and the progress of all the people in this country. So that is why, you know, that is the message that we regularly bring out in our conversations with our stakeholders, our contractors, our consultants, so that they can understand what is at stake here. Because, for example, look at this five-star hotel. Beyond the summit, it is going to have a significant impact on not only the tourism portfolio, but the socio-economic development of this country for a very long time. Because let's face it, the Gambia for a very long time is known, I mean, in the area of tourism for our sea, sun, and the sun. It's about time that we diversify and move into something else. So with the coming of the five-star hotel, we are hoping that it will attract a new set of tourists, because the luxury hotel market in Africa is growing. Across the world, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So we are hoping that through the coming of this hotel, the Gambia can also attempt to have its share of the cake, because Radisson Blu is an international franchise, and you have a category of tourists, high-end, high-spending tourists, that go around the world seeking for luxurious accommodation.
And I mentioned before you came on that the Radisson Blu in Sierra Leone is the best hotel in the country. And so these people built a very high standard. The same in Cape Verde. Cape Verde has about 11 five-star hotels, which is why in 2019 they were able to get 890,000 tourists. I mean, we can only dream about figures like that. You know, so you're right. If you have these type of hotels, they attract a different type of tourist, and so that is really what we should be aiming for.
Currently,
finally, let's talk about the projects generally. I mean, very soon the OIC, I mean, we'll witness it in the Gambia. So, what about time? I mean, running against time. I mean, the time.
I think that's a good question. I expected that. But what I like to tell people is that definitely, as you said, time is not on our side, given the fact that statutorily, the next OIC summit should take place this year in the Gambia. Sure. But as you know, COVID-19 was a major disruptor around the world. And as it is the case for everyone else, it set us back in terms of our planning. And because of that, the Gambia is engaging with our partners in this OIC Summit business to make sure we look for a suitable date. The Secretary General was here, and he expressed the fullest support of the Secretariat and his own personal support to the Gambia hosting the summit. So the process has started to look for a suitable date. So that date may go beyond 2022, even though 2022 is the expected year for the summit. But there are chances that the new date might go beyond the summit. So when that happens, and we are hoping, we truly hope that the new date will give us enough time to be able to cover as much grounds as possible to finish some of these projects, like this 5-star hotel and all other projects that we have.
Are you saying there's a new date where Gambia will then host it in 2023
no,
and another country host it in 2022, or new date as to just to push it for it to be suitable for the Gambia to host it?
Yes, I cannot say there is a new date or not at this stage.
Okay.
What I can say is that the date has not been fixed yet, but the conversation to fix the date has started. So, but there are chances, like I said, given that 2022 is almost nearing, there are chances that the new date will go beyond 2022. Sure. So. When that happens, if we have a date, definitely we'll come out and definitely let the public know.
I mean, I'm glad you said that, because I've been having arguments, I was going to say discussions, but really they've been arguments with people on social media. And I've said to them, be patient, because what we want is for all these projects to be completed and completed well.
Absolutely.
Not rush to complete them just to make some kind of artificial deadline. When it's done, then we will have the impact and the benefit from them, and we just have to be patient.
Yeah, exactly. When you look at it, I mean, let the project take a long time to finish. I mean, no problem.
And
we need quality.
We
don't want to rush things at the end of the time. We start complaining again. So even if it will take us to move the date of the summit, no problem.
My phrase that I've been using is, we want to do it right rather than do it right now. And that's what I've been telling everybody.
Absolutely. I think you could not have said it any better. And I just want to reiterate the fact that as a Secretariat, we remain truly committed to making sure we deliver these projects in a timely manner. But some things happen and you have no control over them. And I know when I said COVID-19, I saw her smirking, but COVID-19 truly was a major disruptor for us. And because of that, and I'm sure our allies and fellow member countries of the OIC also understand that. The Secretary General does, the Secretariat do, and they also all of them do, and that is why we are working with them right now to find a suitable date. And as a country, like I said, truly our frank wishes are that Gambia is given enough time to be able to complete all these projects in a timely fashion. Like you said, it's better to get it right and then get it quicker. If you do so and not necessarily get the right thing, it doesn't make sense.
But also, Fali, you did mention that it doesn't mean that all the projects have to be done for the OIC to happen. Like, it can go side by side. You reliably.
The main projects.
I think the main ones have to be there.
Yeah, the main ones. Including the hotel, right?
Yes.
The hotel will take how long to be? What's the estimated period?
The duration is about 24 months, if my memory serves me right.
Then that we can use that as some form of justification in relation to happenings. We can use that to tell that
as a yardstick.
This isn't happening.
That the summit is not happening.
Like, it's not. There's a period that it can happen using the the hotel as a justification to everything.
I agree. Because certainly the duration of 24 months will go beyond 2022.
Exactly.
So certainly, I personally, I don't want to be quite definitive on this. But I think it's safe to say that it will not happen in 2022.
Okay.
But the discussions are ongoing, And we are hoping that the new date will give us enough time to be able to accommodate these things. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think the good thing is not for you to give an artificial date.
Yeah.
No, no,
And
no.
and then the media says, ah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, as individuals, we can use happenings to make our own judgment.
Of course, of course.
You know, that's just the thing.
And I think that's the honest thing. And one of the things I was going to say is that, you know, and I've said this again in other forums, is that for you to keep the public on side, because most of the public are aware that when this happens, it will make a difference in their lives.
Absolutely.
Positively. And so, you know, keep them on side by keeping them regularly informed about and being honest with them.
Exactly. That's just the honesty is key here.
And that's key.
Yes.
That's
And
key.
also, I'm happy about the fact that they did that kind of mini advertisement to actually show people what's
this is
happening.
progress.
I'm so happy when I saw that. I was like, this is amazing. At least public will know it, feeling
the happening. Why at some point, if there is nothing coming from you people, I mean, people will be talking.
People invent stuff.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So, you know, just like she said, we understand the need to engage and be transparent. That is why regularly we update the public through our official communication channels, and all these opportunities that we have, we come out and talk to people about where we are. I'm glad you mentioned the progress video. So that is part of our strategy of regularly updating the public. And every month we will go out and then compile these short videos of all the projects and show people where we are. In fact, Batil Hadin, for example, right now they have started laying the asphalt. You'll be surprised.
I'm not surprised. I went and took pictures of it and posted it. Because I was angry that people were already driving on it when they were meant to.
Those are
and the public needs to take ownership.
Because we can say, oh, they don't do that. Look, let the thing settle as it should, rather than you removing the barrier and then driving on it when it's not ready for it. So
it's crazy.
So I
those are
posted
the
that. I
challenges.
got quite a reaction.
It's some of the challenges that we face regularly, and even the contractors would complain. You'll be surprised that there was an incident where a commercial vehicle hit one of the laborers.
Look at that.
They attempted to stop them, and the driver refused. So you can see we are our own problems. So what we tell people is that the diversions are there. And the diversions, in fact, are meant to be one traffic lanes. But instead of people sticking to that,
will be,
so those are kind of challenges we face. And I would also like to use this opportunity to call on the public to, you know, be patient and really cooperate with us while we work on these projects. It is not going to be easy. Lives and livelihoods will be disrupted. You know, capital projects of this nature in a residential area on a highly trafficked motorway would come with its own challenges. But we call on them to know that it is going to be a temporary problem. It is not going to be here forever. And once the road is completed, it will be here for all of us.
But quickly, before we leave Fali, we also aware that the OIC road construction kind of contributed to fiber cable cuts.
Yes.
Is it? Because we saw with Pura kind of trying to investigate cable cuts and all of that. Maybe you can just give us an update, because I saw you answering some few questions from journalists in relation to that.
That's correct. Yeah, you're right. We've had couple of engagements with Pura and GSM and internet service providers in the country where such concerns were raised. And I personally was involved, and when our response has always been that it is not intentional to cut this vital infrastructure, as you rightly pointed out. In fact, we've adopted measures to make sure that such activities are avoided or mitigated to the barest minimum. And for example, during every stage of our planning, GAMTEL and all the stakeholders that are involved, they've been involved from the beginning. And as we even execute these projects, we have what we call the Road Reserve Committee, which is like a platform where all the stakeholders meet, and we regularly collaborate and make sure that we are on the same page. So it's a challenge, but what we told them at the meeting that we had with Pura is that as a country and as stakeholders, we need to sensitize all the different layers of people that are involved.
Okay.
I think starting from the sensitization and the education is very important, particularly of the laborer cadre of all these projects, because they need to understand that when they cut these vital networks, the impact on our economy is significant.
Huge.
You know, we try to make sure to drive home that message, but it's important that, you know, we also go and, you know, and engage them more seriously about the impact of it. Number one. Number two, also, the challenge that we've been having with this public utility services is that most of them don't seem to have a clear idea of their network drawings.
Yeah.
I said it was you or Mr. Mboch.
Yes.
Mboch,
Well,
we were talking about the
yes,
fact that
exactly.
we do not even know where our cables are as a country.
So you'll be surprised to know in some areas of our project impact zone, they will tell you this highway is free of obstruction. You go in, you start digging, and you will hit pipes. Before you know it, everywhere is wet. So that definitely was one of the challenges that even this Lot 1 and Lot 2 subcontractors face in the beginning. But we are working with them, and I'm aware that a subcontractor have been identified. The contract also has been signed for them to start moving these public utility services away from the major highways. But at the same time also, I challenge Pura to find out, because alongside the construction work, the fiber optic cables and other public utility services are being moved from the work area to the edges of the road. So I told them to find out what percentage of the cuts is definitely a cut or is as a result of the ongoing relocation. So I think, you know, but what I want to emphasize is that as a secretariat we are aware, and as stakeholders we are also aware of the problem, and we are definitely looking into it, to making sure we have a lasting solution to it.
So thank you so much, Fali, for joining us, and we're wishing you a successful event on the 23rd. Radisson Blue in Gambia. Isn't that amazing? That's big.
Foundation stone laying.
Yes, looking forward to it.
It's a great one.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All of you are invited.
Yeah, looking forward. So we will just go for a short break, and we will allow you to leave, and then when we come back, we will just connect to Ansumana Esonyasi in the Makati Square in Banjul in relation to the official handing over ceremony of 33 buses to the GTSC to ease transportation in the country. We'll be right back.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
Welcome back from that short break. I'm just informed that Ansumana Esonyasi and team at Makati Square in Banjul are not ready for us yet. So we will just take a leave of you, and then when they're set and the president has arrived, we will see the official handing over of these 33 buses. So till we come your way officially on this morning, see you tomorrow.
Indeed.